Hi, and welcome to Don't Count Your Calories, the podcast where the little things in life deserve a big conversation. I'm Edison.
And I'm Lex Rise. We're going to be talking about a range of topics from relationships to personal growth and the choices that impact our lives.
Every episode, we're going to share our own experiences, bringing unique perspectives that will either challenge your beliefs or inspire you to make a change.
Whether you're navigating the dating scene or just going through the challenges of daily life, we have something for everyone.
So grab your favorite snack and join us on this journey because life is too short to count your calories. Welcome to another episode of Don't Count Your Calories, where your calories are not the diet plan that you keep failing every week, but it's your thoughts. Last episode, we discussed the changes we wanted to see in each other. So I guess we'll give a quick 5-minute update of that. After that, we're going to discuss a little bit about why we moved from New York City to Dubai. And that might be it for today's episode. And kind of some of the changes from New York to Dubai and some of the, I guess, the lifestyles of what we're experiencing here versus what we were experiencing over there.
All the changes.
Yeah, exactly. So first things first, last week, why don't you start with the changes you wanted to see in me?
I think what we talked about with you is honing in on your main goals and figuring out exactly what you want to prioritize and what you want to focus on at the moment. And I think you've done a really good job planning out your schedule. From what I can tell, you've been really on top of the specific goals that you're looking to do at the moment. Mm-hmm. So overall, I think you've made a lot of really good progress. And yeah, I think you've been really organized. I don't really have any critiques at the moment.
Yeah. I must say that recording this podcast also humbled me a bit. I go to the gym pretty regularly, but I would say I'm pretty dad bod situation going on. And I was leaning back and getting all comfortable in the recording of some previous episodes. And you'll notice if you go back to the other episodes, I had to clip that kind of a little higher up because the rolls were showing a little extra. So now I'm
Humbling.
trying to, So because before it was like I was eating whatever, maybe on a diet thing like 3 days a week and then doing whatever the other days. And now I'm just like, I'm trying to hone in and do at least 6 days a week of clean eating, low carb type of situation.
It's definitely humbling seeing yourself on camera. I'll tell you that. It's it's good practice.
Seeing myself. Yeah.
No. I mean, either way, seeing yourself on camera is it's a practice within itself. You notice a lot more about how you talk, how you look, how you act.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, but overall, I think you've done a great job, and I think now you have a good idea of what you want to do and how you are going to get there.
Yep.
I'm excited to see your transformation.
I don't know if I mentioned it last episode, but I did start that habit tracker. Essentially, what my habit tracker is, it's the items that I wanted to do since our conversation, and then ticking off the box of each of those items every time I do it. That's been helpful to maintain, because sometimes I do forget to read, for example, but I'll go on the habit tracker to mark off what I did that day, and then I realize, oh shit, I didn't do this one thing, and then jump back into it.
Yeah.
Now, switching to the things that I wanted you to do, which the most important thing was for you to wake up 30 minutes earlier. I think it was, not even that much earlier. And it's safe to say...
I woke up later.
Yeah, you probably woke up at least 10 minutes later every single day instead of any time earlier. So
I'd like to say it's like when you take a picture of yourself when you're about to go to the gym at the beginning of like your journey, and then you take that before picture, and I have like probably 10 of those on my phone, and then it's like before and worse. And that's how I am at the moment. Yeah, no, I didn't do anything different. Definitely got to start that over again, but it's a new week. I'm motivated to try and really change my life and change my mindset, because I think I've definitely the past week or so been in this negative mindset, and having a negative mindset is like quicksand. Once you start thinking negatively, it's very difficult to get your head out of it, and it's just not healthy, to be honest with you. It's almost been in this like depressive kind of state, not actually depressive, but just like negative self-talk and negative thoughts in general. So it's been very difficult to get myself up in the morning, especially just like during the week. And yeah, I've been definitely struggling a little bit, but I really want to turn it around because what we were talking about is how no one else is, on one of our previous episodes, no one else is really seeing the pain that you're going through. So letting other people take over your mental thoughts is useless and unproductive. I really want to work on that in this coming week. And I think we talked about that starting on Monday. I'm going to be going on your schedule. We're trying something out that we did see on social media. It's called 75 Hard. It's basically 75 days of choosing a diet of your choice. You have to work out twice a day, one indoor activity, one outdoor activity, and you have to journal for 10 minutes a day, read.
Yeah, journal or read, I guess, 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, I think it's both.
I didn't see
But
the journal thing, but I saw the read thing. Okay.
basically, we're going to start doing that. We already started this weekend. We've been doing a good job. And then Monday, basically, we're going to do a morning workout for 45 minutes at the gym. And then afterwards, after work, I think we're going to go for a swim or something like that in our pool. So, yeah.
Light stunt.
What?
Light stunt,
Yeah.
the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, in our pool.
Okay, I meant like in the pool in our building. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a millionaire. That would be ideal, but
Yeah.
not our pool. But
Anyway,
that
but
doesn't
yeah,
necessarily mean you're a millionaire. But
true.
But yeah.
Basically, I mean, yeah, we did start that 75 hard thing. Also, no alcohol and stuff.
yes, no alcohol.
I'm on 1 week, no alcohol.
I'm pretty happy about that. To be honest, I really want alcohol to exit my life completely. I don't even really like how I feel when I drink anymore. Sometimes I like one drink to have, but just to loosen me up a little bit, but there's really no benefit to drinking alcohol. Everyone that's really successful that you see really doesn't drink. Yeah, so I think it'll be good practice and I'm excited to see how we go. But basically, if you fail, even for one day, then you have to start the whole thing over again. So we could be doing this for a long time.
Yeah, let's see. You're gonna see a couple more weeks and let you know. The next few weeks of episodes, you're gonna see. We're gonna be telling you about our progress on this 75 hard situation and how we're doing. But yeah, basically this upcoming week, Lex here is going to be on my schedule for 5 days, and then after that, she can do what she wants. But for these next 5 days, I'm not gonna get the. I'm not waking up. Get off me.
Yeah.
Leave me alone in the morning. She's gonna
So
wake up,
excited, guys.
gonna go with me to the gym, and then even after work, the whole day is that you're on my schedule. Even
Yeah.
after work,
We go for a swim in our
whatever
pool.
whatever we do, whatever we do. Actually, you don't decide that this week. I do, because we shook on it.
Okay.
So I decide whether we swimming or running, or worse.
All right, so we'll see, guys.
We'll see how it goes. But jumping on to the next topic of our conversation is basically our move from New York City to Dubai and why we kind of left New York and
A little background as well.
yeah, a
I
little
think we should
background on
give
why.
our audience, because we never really did that at the beginning of when we started our podcast. It was just jump in and let's talk about everything. But I think we should give some context as to who we are, what our background is, and also, based on who we are and where we're from, why we decided to move completely across the world to a whole different region.
Yeah, so where do I start? I mean, I think there was just a decision to leave the United States and try something new. That was the first thought process. Initially, we were like, let's move out of state. And then after that, we're like, well, why don't we try internationally? And then after attempting internationally in like over 20 different countries, came to realize that when you try so many different things, nothing comes. So I started honing in on basically the countries that we wanted to go to, which eventually ended up being the UAE. And then I personally just focused on applying here, just applying to jobs here, applying to jobs here. Eventually, a job came through, and I think we were on vacation when I got
Yeah.
the letter anyway. So we were already on vacation. In the middle of the vacation, I get the offer letter, and we're like, oh shit. When we get back from vacation, we got to get ready to move.
Yeah, and
know.
I had been laid off from my previous company and was looking for work for probably 7 months. And the job market in New York was, I remember, just being really rough. I doubt it's gotten better, to be honest. But then when we found out he got the job here, I had gotten a job offer literally that week from a company in New York. It was definitely a tough decision. It was either like stay in your comfort zone or make a huge leap. And I didn't necessarily have a job at that point, but I ended up getting a job after, I would say, 2 weeks of being here.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it ended up working out completely. But I think for me, I had basically lived in the US my entire life, and I had mostly been in New York. I went to college in Charleston, South Carolina, which I absolutely loved. And I knew 100% I was going to go back to New York City after graduating. But after a few years of being in New York City, being in the grind, going through COVID, living through the pandemic in New York City, I started to realize that I wanted more. I wanted a different lifestyle. And also, I think kind of the curtains fell down when it came to the US. A lot of things came out that might not necessarily we had known about prior to the election and to COVID that made me want to leave the US more than I ever had before. So, yeah, it was absolutely let's try a new experience, let's see what's out there. But I think for me, it was also, I think we could do better. I think we can, or at least try to do better in a different country. And if we hate it, the US is always going to be there. But I've actually found the lifestyle here to be really enjoyable, and it's opened my eyes to all of the other countries that we can move to and that we can experience living in. So,
Yeah, I would say that the one of the best things about being on this side of the planet is how much closer you are to everything else. Like from the United States to visit Asia is so far away. Even to go to Europe, it's much further away than here. Like from here, we're in certain European countries in 4 hours or less, 4 or 5 hours. You're basically reaching all of Europe, and also the flights are cheaper. So it
yeah.
makes it like we've went away for a weekend. We went for like a long weekend to Maldives, for example. Like, can you imagine that? I would never thought we could do that from New York.
I can't
So,
imagine traveling anywhere near as much as we have this year, just doing weekend trips, being like 4 or 5 hours away from an entirely different area of the world. We would have been so far to go to any of the places that we've been to. We would have at least had to spend a week there and had to take a week off of work. When here, we can see all of these different countries within a few hours.
true. Yeah, other than that, New York was just becoming a burden a little bit. I think sometimes, I mean, it's not just New York. I think wherever you go, once you get stuck in a certain circle, if you don't actively try to attempt new things, get yourself out of the comfort zone, whatever the case, then it becomes clockwork. It just becomes the same thing over and over and over. Um, you get stuck in the same friend group. You're going out all in the same places. Everybody, like for example, in New York, there's thousands of places to go out. But when you get caught up with, I guess, a certain circle and a certain outlook and certain people like looking at you and
You
watching you,
stay in a
yeah,
bubble.
you stay in a little bubble and you go out in the same places over and over and over. And it's like,
It's
instead of
clockwork.
trying like the thousands of different places and trying something new, you'd figure that while you're there you would, but you don't. You actually don't end up doing that at all. So
Yeah. I also felt like going off of that, being in New York, you would think you're going to meet so many different people. You're going to meet people from all over the world. There is truth to that. But funny enough, here, I've found that I've met way more people from other countries than I ever have in the world. It's beautiful here because in the UAE, I believe around 70% or more of people are expats here coming from other countries. And everybody really brings their culture. So it's been amazing to not only meet people from places that I never imagined, but also learning about their cultures, learning about their families, what makes them who they are, because I think a big difficulty in the US is once you get there, you kind of assimilate and you become where you're from now. So
right.
let's say I'm from the Netherlands or I'm from, Kosovo.
Hmm.
You come to New York City, and then if you're there for a certain amount of
Yeah, you just
time,
become a New Yorker.
yeah, you become a New Yorker, you become an American, you lose that sense of culture a little bit unless you really actively make a conscious choice to, pursue your religion or make active choices to remember your culture and where you're from.
Yeah, it's crazy because when I was younger, especially in New York, it's like we would explore a lot of different, more random places. But as I got older, and you get, it's almost like you follow the hype. It's I don't know when that changed. When it was like hype versus fun. When I was younger, it was more like we're just going to have fun. No matter where we are, we would have fun. And then later on, it's just like, oh, that's not hype, so you don't go. Oh, what's that? No, that doesn't have a name, so you don't go there. And it's like sometimes when you go to these hyped up places, so you don't even go and have fun. It's just you're there and everybody's just Instagramming to show that they're there. Not that it doesn't happen in Dubai. It fucking definitely does. Same shit. But I feel like now that we're outside of the bubble, it's like we can go and explore whatever the fuck there is here. We don't have to stay on that hyped up value and on that Instagram shit that people just automatically get caught up in. More of the story is, yeah, just fucking have fun, man.
I agree. There's definitely a lot less of assimilating that we have to do here, and it's not always about the hype shit. Where when I was in New York, it was like, where are you going? Who do you know? Do I want to hang out with this person if they're not somebody, if they aren't going to get me somewhere? And here, you really don't experience that at all.
Do
And
you think we don't experience that here because we purposely didn't put ourselves in that situation?
I
Because
just don't think we care anymore.
right, I think it's a us thing. I don't think it's a location thing. In
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi, I would say like yeah, people don't really get caught up with that as much. But in Dubai, I feel like 100% there people do get caught up with going to these places, going to the Zumas, going to the
I think it's much more difficult in New York to not be like that. I
yes,
think
yes, that's true.
being
That's true.
around people who
Yeah.
are constantly trying to hang out or trying to be around people that can do something for them is like quicksand.
And to be honest, yeah, I mean, even like in the dating scene in New York, if you are a guy and you go to certain places, you're like, oh my god, he goes there. Ew.
Yeah.
Like people don't people don't want to like talk to you because you go to
Yeah, it's
certain
all
X, Y, and Z.
about
It's all about where you go, who you know. That's like the whole.
people are very judgmental. And not to say that people aren't here, but I think with moving here, it came with a different mindset for the both of us. And I'm really happy overall that we made that move, because it's really opened our eyes to how big the world is, at least for me. When I was in New York, I definitely felt like I was in this US bubble, and I felt like the world is so far away out there, and you really are just so stuck with, you know, what's around you, and you don't really look at the big picture. So I don't know. I'm really happy that we did it. And it was really funny because when we were moving here, the amount of comments that we got just about moving
Oh
to
right,
this
right, right.
region,
Yeah,
moving to
people
the
did.
Middle East,
Yeah, I mean,
moving
people
to
in the U.S. in
UAE.
general don't know anything about geography, and then obviously world politics is also not really there a lot of times in the U.S. because
It's not taught.
it's in our American mentality that we're the best and everybody should care about us and we don't care about you. That's usually how it kind of works out. But then when you start traveling out, you start realizing the opinion that we have, that we think that other people have of us as Americans and as America is very different from when you go. There's certain people that we've met across our travels that were like, I would never even visit the US. I would never go to the US. I would never live there. And coming from America and hearing that, I was even surprised because I'm like, I just figured everybody wants to be in America to begin with. But now, I guess nowadays, it's not it. It's not what people really want or care about, you know?
Yeah, I think the marketing scheme of the US has really let its walls
Yeah.
down.
The internal propaganda, let's say.
Definitely. And now that people, I think, have more access to information with the internet and with social media, and us being so influenced by what we see and what we hear, we've begun to realize that the US is not all it's hyped out to be. And once you see how people are really living, how expensive it is to live in the US with housing, with just day to day life expenses, you begin to realize that there's a bigger world out there, and we don't have to be spending as much as we are living in New York City, but also living in the US in general. It's much more affordable for us to live here. And funny enough, people from other countries actually think the UAE is expensive. Like living in
Yeah,
Dubai
yeah,
to a
yeah.
lot of people is a really expensive
For
place to
sure.
be. But
For
us
sure.
coming from the US, like we're
Yeah.
actually saving money.
Yeah, if you're coming from certain places in Germany and certain places in like Poland and uh, certain places across Europe, it's much cheaper to live in Europe than here. But here, it's like
Yeah.
compared to especially the East Coast of the United States, it's so much cheaper to live here than it is over there. And
Yeah.
mind you, the tax benefit of your salary also helps a long way. Like for example,
Yeah.
if you're getting paid the same in the U.S. as here, you're already making about 30% more because of the taxes. And certain countries even more. Forget about it. Like the Scandinavian countries, they're saving 40% by moving and living here. That's but that's the gist of it. I mean, we just wanted to do a change. I'm at the age of like, if I don't do a change now, I won't do it ever. So
Yeah.
we decided, let's try it. Let's try it out, see what we get out of it. And like you said, it's like we can always go back if we really don't like it. So far, we're loving it. And I must say, yes, it does get really hot in the summers, but
Yeah.
I would much rather be hot
Then
than
freezing.
freezing cold. Like those turning the blocks of New York, like when you're walking out of a train, and you turn that
Freezing.
block and that wind hits you in the face. Ooh, I
Yeah.
don't miss that at
You
all.
couldn't also pay me to commute on the subway in the morning
Mm,
anymore. So
yeah.
I'll much rather take the commute every day here compared to back in New York.
Hmm.
But even regardless, the biggest thing that I can say out of this whole conversation is if you have this gut feeling within you, you want to move, that you want to get out of a major city, if you no longer align with something that you felt like you aligned with maybe 5 years ago, absolutely take that chance, take the jump because your gut is not going to tell you wrong. And luckily, in the digital age that we live in, you actually don't have to be in a major city anymore to succeed and do what you want to do. I actually think that leaving a major city after being there for years and years and years is actually a sign of growth. And I think it means you're understanding that maybe something that you felt a few years ago, that you felt that you needed to move to the city to be able to make it, you actually don't need to do that. You can succeed from anywhere in the world. And it's
Yeah.
really, I think it's really growth.
And also, success is subjective, right?
Yeah.
So you can essentially whatever success means to you. But yeah, if you're working remote, I don't see why you don't at least attempt move out of the city, move out of a major city, try a different area. You can always go back, whatever the
Yeah.
case. For everybody, everybody has their own way of life, but in our experience, I would say, yeah, definitely take that leap, especially if you're under 30. Take that leap, try it, figure it out, go somewhere else, live amongst other people, see different perspectives, learn from those different areas. And then at the end of the day, if you want to go back to the major city or whatever the case might be, or wherever you come from, you can go back with a different perspective, maybe a different mentality to the whole thing, you know?
Yeah. It's really important to be able to take chances in your life. And if you're not actively taking chances and taking risks, what's really the point? You know what I mean? We have one life. We have a certain amount of years that we're all going to be granted, whether that can end in 10, 30 years or it could end in 5 days. You would much rather take that risk, move across the world, start a whole new experience for yourself rather than playing it safe. And luckily, being young, a lot of us have our health. So make that decision, do something crazy. And if it doesn't work out, at least you tried.
With that being said, should we close out the show there or
Yeah,
close out
sure.
this episode? All right, we can close out the episode with that note. One quick note from us is that the Don't Count Your Calories podcast will be under the Creative Impact Network, which
Yes.
is a podcasting network that we're signed up to. You can go on creativeimpactnetwork.com and check out all the other shows that are on there. All great shows, Tragedy Academy, Women and Girls, and other podcasts is there as well. But yeah, you'll be getting some updates. And also at the same time on our Instagram and TikTok and everywhere, Don't Count Your
All
Calories.
platforms.
We will still be posting our food stuff, so we're not going to stray away completely from the food. You'll still be seeing that, but you'll be seeing a little bit of our podcast episodes in between as well. And maybe soon, we've been working on a lot of diet type of recipes and cooking and making like protein balls and all this shit and overnight oats and all that nonsense, like trying to be all this healthy and whatever.
Yeah.
We'll start posting a little bit of us making these healthy recipes. I tried a broccoli crusted pizza the other day. Not as good as Instagram made it seem. Let
No,
me tell you,
guys,
not
don't
as
do
good.
it.
I'll give you a
Don't do
rating.
it.
I'll give you a rating. It looks great. It looks
Looked
great, but
great.
I'm telling you, it's not the.
We're
Some of these
gonna be
healthy,
honest
some of
here.
these healthy recipes that we're looking up,
Was
we're
ass.
mixing and matching like the recipe with our own knowledge of cooking. But oh man, the broccoli pizza crust thing was ass.
Don't
And
do
everybody
it.
on Instagram that keeps making this broccoli crusted pizza and saying that, oh, it's so much better, I'm never having regular pizza again. You're a fucking liar. You're a
Straight
damn
up.
liar.
Like,
Straight up,
stop
you're
fucking
lying.
with
You're lying.
us. You're just
At the
doing
end of
it
the day,
for
it's fucking
views.
broccoli with cheese on top.
Straight up.
Yeah, it's
Don't
not.
do it. It's
Don't
not
do
going
it.
to trick your
Don't do
kids.
it.
They're not going to like it.
Yeah, nobody's gonna
Anyway,
like that shit.
thank you so much for watching this episode or listening to this episode. We're so excited to keep you guys also updated on our 75 hard journey.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that already.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
And that wraps up another episode of Don't Count Your Calories. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
And make sure to go ahead and follow us on all social media platforms, on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Don't Count Your Calories. Thank you so much for watching today, and we'll see you next time.
5 stars on all platforms.